like maybe 5 to 6 appointments a day, like
Wow.
that were, so that's awesome. We were able to close 4 new clients since then off the cold email stuff. That one little tweak, that one little change, could 10x a business. And then, you know what I mean? Like it's paid for itself tenfold, right? So 100% still focus on fulfillment, but never turn off the prospecting.
Hey, today I am joined by Franky Soroka. Is that right?
Soroka.
Soroka. Okay. I've been pronouncing that wrong in my head for 10 years. Today I'm joined by Franky Soroka, who's someone I've known for a long time and started working with, I don't know, 6 months or so ago as kind of a consulting and coaching basis. And I'm just going to talk to him a little bit about what we've been doing and what we've been working on. So can you just tell us a little bit about you and your business, and we'll go from there.
So the name's Franky Soroka, like Chris said. Company's called Make It Online Easy. Officially started around 2016, 2017, the whole online marketing thing. And then, dabbled in a bunch of different things. But then around, I think it was like 2019 or something like that. I know that, or 2018, 2019, I know Legiit started to come out. But prior to that, I mean, I would, following Chris, but Legiit really caught my eyes because it was like a marketplace, and all this stuff. So yeah, I remember that was like one of the first times we really started to talk a lot more and engage. And from there, it was great because we were able to expand into offering services on there. And then that led into, a lot of cool stuff with our local clients and stuff. So basically we're running a marketing agency, advertising agency. Started off kind of everywhere, but now we're really honed in on our processes and stuff. And, it's been really fun. It's been really good.
That's great. I know you've had a lot of ups and downs with various things. You came to me, I don't know, a few months ago and we're just looking for some advice. And I told you about this program. Can you tell me what, like, some of the problems you were having back then, if you don't mind sharing, of course, that you were having and what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so I definitely had some initial great success on the Legiit side of things, right? The marketplace, and that was great because especially it was early on in the early stages. I was able to be kind of up there, like in one of the earlier ones. So it was good, but then unfortunately things just it was more so on my end. I just kind of didn't push it more. I didn't really grow it to the capacity, to the potential that it could have been. And then, stuff happens. You kind of have other stuff going on. Initially, why, reaching back out with Chris, we've always had a great relationship, but it was really cool that I got to connect with him and I kind of explained to him what was going on, which was I wanted to get back into really marketing, my Legiit, services and just really getting out there and like really being able to do well in the marketplace. Which I know I have the potential to do it. I know I have a lot of those things there. It's just kind of like it was on me to just, all right, let's just do it already. So Chris was awesome at basically seeing what I needed and giving me great advice on that specific, on a lot of stuff. But like it was super helpful in that case because I was able to immediately implement some of the stuff that he mentioned. And like to this day, I mean, we got another order the other day, and like luckily he also gave some great advice for my wife as well, and she just got another order today. So like it's awesome. So the stuff from day one already is taking effect as I'm talking to you today. So yeah, it's been really, really cool.
And there was some stuff with your agency that we talked about too, right?
Yeah. So there was definitely huge eye opener for me, and I'm actually in the middle of implementing it as we speak. But even prior to that, some great advice, some email stuff and some of the stuff that we were doing there, like to get clients, like email marketing, like sending, just basically prospecting,
cold
gave
email.
you some great advice there. But I love my favorite advice that you gave, like in terms of with this specific subject, was the funnel and stuff that you were sharing. It just was unbelievable. It was incredible. Some of the numbers and some of the results there. So we already started to like build that out and implement that to supplement what we're already doing because it's awesome what you shared. So that's definitely, that was huge. That was a big one.
That was the
built.
funnel with like the ebook and then the upsell and then the book call, right?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, exactly. And basically you were able to kind of like walk me through the whole process and like, it makes perfect sense. And what I loved is that we even went behind the scenes and like, nothing, like it was just all fully transparent. Like this is how many appointments, or this is how many leads came in. This is how many people converted. It was just awesome, man. It was really cool to see that. I feel like that's a breath of fresh air, right? Like to people just be like, to be able to really see, because a lot of people can promise and say a lot of cool stuff, but like you're actually doing it, right? And I respect that like a lot, so I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. And you got a pretty cool looking video set up there today. Is that something we talked about too?
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, this alone is probably gonna, make me, who knows, man, over 100K by the end of the year, maybe more. But the point is, like, my setup, content creation, everything. We had a whole deep conversation about that, and the setup. I mean, it all starts there. It all starts with the camera. It all starts with, like, your entire lighting situation. So night and day difference, like, no pun intended, but like, yeah, my lighting was trash, like everything was totally opposite. My angle was funny, like it was definitely a whole nother thing. And then luckily, sharing some insights from Chris, like I know exactly, I purchased the exact stuff that I needed to purchase. I set it up, the things exactly how I needed to be. Man, it was exactly what I needed, man. So it was perfect. So now I can shoot content, I can record sales videos, I can hop on meetings, like I'm looking at clients in the eyes and stuff. So it's just awesome, man. It's been a very helpful.
Last time we talked, you mentioned the email marketing. Last time we talked, you actually showed me some, like, a cold email sequence you were doing that was doing really well at, like, getting you some appointments and stuff, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's been our bread and butter lately, that cold email stuff for sure.
So basically, some of the stuff we talked about was like doing more content with your video and doing some cold outreach, and then how to optimize your profile, right? Those were like the main things that you came to me with, and that's what we've worked on.
Yeah, yeah, basically. I mean, it's a lot of other things too, like maybe like some other smaller things, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like those are the main core things. Yeah, but yeah, there's other things tied in there as well.
Do you have any, like, numbers or things that you've gotten since we talked?
Since we originally when we shared the cold email sequences, and we're kind of were going over that to kind of like get your feedback on it, and it was great feedback, so we were able to, make sure we implemented all that and continued on. And since then, we were able to close 4 new clients since then off the cold email stuff. You know what I mean? Just literally cold. They don't know who the heck we are, to, money in hand. So it's been really awesome. That's been relatively quickly. I mean, I didn't, since with that conversation, I don't know how long it's been. It hasn't been that long,
Yeah.
so it's been pretty quick.
And
Yeah.
those, when you say clients, those are like SEO clients or lead gen clients, or?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. So, but yeah, SEO clients for the most part, but some of them are lead gen as well. That's something that we're doing in our offering, where we're doing a little bit of lead gen and SEO.
Great. So you're still implementing all the stuff we've talked about, but is that right?
Yeah, we're still implementing that stuff. We're still, obviously, like, my goal is to have that cold email stuff churning out. Right now, the cold email marketing is generating anywhere from like maybe 5 to 6 appointments a day, like
Wow.
that. So that's awesome. I mean, obviously it's on average sometimes a little more, a little less,
Sure.
but in terms of positive responses, we're getting, sometimes from 7 to 10 all the way to even like 30 responses in a day of people saying they're interested or tell me more.
That's
So that's how it's
incredible.
converting into the 5 or 6 appointments per day. But our pipeline's getting massive. Our pipeline's getting super fat. We have our team member that's calling all the leads. We just actually hired 2 new people, one other person to now start to kind of be another appointment setter that's going to help follow up, because we're getting a lot of leads now. And then we also have another person that's going to start cold calling, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, we're really in scale mode right now. So those changes really helped us to, like, now, get some of these funds to now be able to scale more, and kind of go faster. So that's been awesome. That's been really cool.
Yeah, so just to be, like, clear, you had your agency in the past and you were selling stuff on Legiit and they were doing okay. And then you kind of neglected the Legiit stuff and you came to me about that. And since then we've worked on the agency and the Legiit and some other odds and ends. And now it's like going well, right?
Definitely going way better than well, I would say. But yeah, for sure. You need, like, on the Legiit side as well, like, things are definitely, we're seeing way more improvements and upticks there too, which is great. And we have, like, our team members are excited, you know what I mean? Cause like that's, so overall everything is just, the morale, everything is starting to pick up because we're just getting a lot more business, and like, that's one of the things that, like, I regret, and I guess as advice for other people, or, like we all learn from our mistakes. Like, one of my biggest mistakes is, in the past, I just turned off my prospecting. I just stopped prospecting, and it's just like, that was one of the worst mistakes that you could possibly make.
Mhm.
Because you get comfortable, you have your clients, like maybe you're making a certain amount of revenue, 20K, 30K, whatever it is, and you're comfortable, you feel good. But then, like, there's churn, and there's gonna be unexpected events that happen or whatever. And then all of a sudden now, you feel that loss, you feel that client loss, and now you have nothing to replace it, or you don't have that abundance because you don't have a pipeline, you don't have people you're talking to, you don't have new leads coming in, new sales coming in. So I felt that hardcore. That was a tough period where, like, like we were just focusing on fulfillment, and that's good. You do want to focus on fulfillment, but not at the cost of completely shutting down your sales. And that's the mistake I made. What I would have done to go back, I would have 100% still focus on fulfillment, but never turn off the prospecting, even if you have to like tone it down, or if you have to hire someone or whatever. But like, that's the lifeblood of any business. Like sales is the lifeblood. Like you gotta have sales. So yeah, that's, that was a big one. So now moving forward here, never gonna turn off my prospecting machines, and now that it's working even more, like absolutely not, absolutely not.
Wonderful. So we'll wrap up pretty soon, but if you had any feedback or recommendations for the people watching this about the consulting service that you used with me, what would it be?
Yeah, I would definitely say that, like, having someone like Chris, and his experience and his, he has done a lot of the things that I wanted to do, like create content and create software, or like, just be able to do SEO successfully, and just be able to, do these things that like relate to me, right? And it resonated with me, and I loved, kind of his whole attitude about it. And it, it worked out great, being able to even have this opportunity, right? Not everybody, has the ability to just be able to consult with someone and get connected with them. Chris was luckily, able to make that accessible, for me and for other people, you know what I mean? Where you can literally just ask him questions, book a call, like schedule, conversation, I mean, that's exactly what you want, right? Like that's the ideal scenario, and a lot of people charge crazy amount of money. And I mean, I'm sure he's going to probably charge crazy amount of money. Maybe he already is, but like point is, it's like, I mean, it's worth it. Like, what I mean? Like that one little tweak, that one little change, could 10X the business. And then, what I mean? Like it's paid for itself tenfold, right? So, I've already, with the deals that I've closed, I mean, I've definitely already made more than what I invested. And obviously I want to continue to grow with you, man. And the fact that we can continue to, be in conversations, in the future is super valuable. That's priceless. You know what I mean? Like, cause it's like, I have now Chris in my corner, you know what I mean? Whenever something's going on, like, man, I'm not sweating it. Like, let me get back to you. I'll be right back. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go hit up my boy Chris. Like, so,
but
yeah,
not during WrestleMania. Awesome. Not during WrestleMania, though.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Fair. Good point. But yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It said for me to make it conversational, so I had to throw that in there.
I love it. Yeah. No, for sure.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you. First of all, I appreciate you doing the work. Sometimes you give people advice and they don't always do it. So I appreciate that you're somebody that will go and do it. And I'm happy to see the success that you're having, whether it comes from me or from anybody else. Like, it's great to see. And I've been good knowing you for, better part of 10 years, I'd say, give or take. So, so anything before we wrap up, anything else you want to say? And you kind of covered everything, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, overall, like, I mean? I think this is definitely worth, the investment, and definitely getting connected with Chris, you know what I mean? But overall, like, your network and being around like smart people, like you never want to be the smartest person in the room, you know what I mean? Like, I know it could be a shot to the ego or whatever, like kind of feeling dumb or whatever, but I'd rather be like, that the dumbest person in the room in a smart room, So yeah. Having people like Chris around you, having these kinds of people, it's just like, it's inevitable. You're gonna get better. You're gonna improve, you know what I mean? Like, so like, why wouldn't you? So that's kind of how I be around the right people. Obviously, Chris is doing the right thing. I mean, his work speaks for itself, you know what I mean? So you don't even got to take my word for it. I mean, look how much stuff he's built, how much success he's had. But yes, but also take my word for it. I mean, I known him for, like you said, for 10 years, man. Like, I feel like I can confidently say he's a great, genuine human being that wants to help. So
appreciate that. And your business is called Making Online Easy.
Making Online Easy, correct? Yeah.
Okay. And if people wanted to learn more about you, that's where what they would search.
Yeah, they can go to makeonlineeasy.com. Yeah, just on Instagram, YouTube, all the places, just Make It Online Easy. You can check.
Or they can search for your name.
Yeah, or Franky Soroka. We have frankysoroka.com as well. So yeah, definitely.
See, you're doing all the things. So
yeah.
All right. I appreciate it.